The world can and must benefit directly from the acceptance and knowledge of climate change. People must first be aware of the earth changing around them. Then, by making positive steps in the right direction, through slight changes in our day-to-day lives, we can help protect our earth for ourselves and for those who come after us. The causes of climate change, as well as how to prevent it for a better future, can be shown through scientific research, graphs, and articles from climate change professionals. Taking a closer look at the data reveals three major aspects of climate change. Causes. The climate change on planet Earth can be linked directly to what we do as its inhabitants, focusing mainly on the greenhouse effect, caused by how we eat and what we use for transportation. Prevention. Once the cause of a problem is located, steps can be taken towards the path of prevention. These steps revolve around making slight changes in our day-to-day lives. The future. The future is everything if today is worth nothing. While slightly dramatic, maybe not so inaccurate. If we don't make changes on how we are living as a species today, then what will our kids have to look forward to? If their information has anything to say, it's that we can stop the wrong we are causing our planet by making minor changes in our lives. We can start doing this by eating less meat, lowering the creation of harmful gases that hurt our planet. The same can be said for driving more economic cars, or not driving cars at all when possible. We need to start taking these things into consideration today for a better tomorrow. This study was created to show the direct and indirect impact humans have on climate change and the environment. The study seeks specifically to answer the following questions. What we do as humans to cause climate change? What can we do as humans to prevent climate change? How does our future look as not just a species, but as a planet if we continue down the road we're on? What if we decide to take a different route? This formal report was developed for business communications. One of any subject was available for choosing. Climate change and its effect on the environment was chosen because it is commonly seen as, if not the most, important environmental dilemma of our time. It would be difficult to have not at least heard of climate change at this day and age, but simply hearing about it or just knowing what it is isn't always enough. For those people who have only a vague understanding or need a refresher, climate change refers to a change in the global climate patterns, largely in part to increased production of carbon dioxide. Climate change is a hot environmental subject because while it may affect some places worse than others, say the melting polar caps, it still affects us all in one way or another. Many people believe that climate change is over-exaggerated or even fabricated, but as Bill Nye says, climate change is happening, humans are causing it, and I think this is perhaps the most serious environmental issue facing us. Data for this report has been gathered from credible online sources, scholarly articles, and from written text by professionals on the subject. Global climate trends have been documented and graphed by scientists and the like and will be used to help understand how our planet is changing. When talking about climate change, it is important to look in at a few major factors that will be discussed in this report. Those factors are 1. Cause, 2. Prevention, and 3. The future. These factors will help show the direct and indirect ways humans cause climate change, how we can prevent further harm, and how bleak or optimistic the future may look. While a handful of things cause climate change, carbon dioxide leads the pack. Carbon dioxide is produced both naturally by the planet and non-naturally by humans, and causes something called the greenhouse effect, which is all made worse by landscape change such as deforestation. First, we'll go into the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is what keeps the Earth from being a very cold place to live. The Earth's atmosphere traps greenhouse gases that come back down as energy, warming the Earth. The problem we have come across is that too many greenhouse gases are being produced, therefore overheating the Earth. The most harmful overly produced gas being carbon dioxide, created from fossil fuel use such as driving vehicles, land use changes such as deforestation, and industrial processes. It is important to know that the human species isn't the only cause of carbon dioxide production. The Earth does in fact create its own carbon dioxide in many ways, one of its largest being volcanic eruptions. As mentioned earlier, if the Earth didn't create any such gas with a greenhouse effect to warm its surface, it wouldn't be a very fun place to live. However, the Earth also has its own ways of keeping these gases, such as carbon dioxide, into check, such as trees, leading to the next article of discussion. There's a saying that the forests are the lungs of our planet, and it's not an exaggeration. Deforestation is one of the most frightening causations of climate change for two main reasons. Trees capture CO2 and recycle and clean our supply of oxygen. Therefore, burning them is a double negative, releasing the captured CO2 back into the atmosphere and killing the recyclers of what we literally need to breathe. While we create a significant amount of trouble for our planet, we know what exactly we do to cause it, which means we can make steps towards preventing future harm. There are many ways we can limit the creation of greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide. The main way would be to change how we get from here to there. To lower our carbon footprint, we must make changes in the cars we drive by choosing low-carbon vehicles, not just fuel-efficient vehicles, by choosing either electric or hybrid cars depending on where you live. Preventing deforestation is imperative if we want to help our planet get back on its feet. As mentioned previously, trees are tremendously important to our planet, as well as our own well-being. On top of helping the climate change issue, Greenpeace states that ending deforestation is our best chance to conserve wildlife and defend the right of our forest communities. Stopping deforestation is a complicated issue, but there is a lot we can do in the meantime to minimize its hurt on the environment. For one, we can plant trees, and a lot of them, as well as support companies that have tree planting policies. The same goes for companies that go paperless, as well as doing so ourselves. Finally, recycling whenever possible. Possibly the least thought of solution to the climate change issue is how we eat. The last thing a lot of people want to hear is that not eating meat and becoming a vegetarian will help save the planet. Emissions from livestock, largely from burping cows and sheep and their manure, currently make up almost 15% of global emissions. Beef and dairy alone make up 65% of all livestock emissions. While many people would claim they would rather die than to not eat meat, taking it out of your diet totally isn't necessarily a necessity. However, if we could dramatically decrease the amount of meat we eat on a weekly basis, maybe just starting with a meatless Monday, we could help with climate change. Our planet's future, as well as our own, is in our hands. We have the means to detect the problems as they happen, as well as to project what will happen if they go on unattended. If we don't act on lowering our carbon footprint, it's projected that the sea levels will rise, the ocean, which acts as a buffer absorbing up excess carbon dioxide, will become acidic, and its currents will change. Weather will become more severe and unpredictable, and so on. Analyzing the data found, climate change is a real threat, but one that can be avoided, if not at the very least limited by these recommendations. Limiting the emissions of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide by reevaluating the vehicles we drive. Preventing or limiting deforestation by supporting eco-friendly businesses, recycling, and taking every opportunity to plant a tree. Cutting out totally or limiting the amount of meat we eat. Based on these findings, it is clear what we need to do as a species to protect the planet we call home. By implementing these recommendations into our daily lives, we can make a dramatic change for the betterment of our planet.